Hey guys, welcome back. BDCKR here, and we're back with our weekly recap of all things Injustice. This is for the week of January the 16th, 2020. And just to start off, there's currently a petition asking the developers to update Injustice that we have a link in the description. We checked it earlier today, and it was just under 400 signatures. If you're interested in that, you can go ahead and sign that. Getting into the Injustice sort of directly in-game content, the current challenge is Earth 2 Solomon Grundy. That's a 1-week repeat. The required characters for that are Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Sinestro, who you can get at Silver, Bronze, and Bronze, so great for new and incoming players. You know, a little challenging if you don't already have a copy of Wonder Woman, just because buying it in the store isn't the cheapest, but, you know, right. Still, as far as things go, probably about the best you're going to get.
Right.
His passive, thinking about Wonder Woman, is Death and Decay, which is when Solomon Grundy is in combat, his death aura does a damage over time to the enemy, chance to decay a piece of gear for the whole match on tag-in, and opponents gain power twice as slow when they fight Solomon Grundy or any of his Earth 2 teammates.
Weird wording, but what's cool is he's got 3 elements to his passive.
Yeah, basically
Distinct
3
elements.
passives.
Yeah.
So decently high stats, 1100 attack and 1300 health. Pretty similar stats to last week's Amaikami Catwoman, which is 1050 attack and 1400 health, but more interesting and more useful passive.
This is a perfect example, right, of where it's not just stats. So, and here, the thing is, what really keeps him from being great is how slow he is, as opposed to Catwoman, who's really fast. He's got basically 3 passives, as opposed to Catwoman, who had 1, which is mostly useless.
Yeah.
All right, so the damage over time is nice. It isn't fight changing, and it might be a little bit of a problem when you're facing Blackest Night Flash.
Yeah,
which
is basically heal over time.
Right, and power gen like crazy. Like there's a couple times where I was fighting him, and I'd forgotten, and I just instinctively did a bunch of bleeds in a row.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden he'd do a super, and then 2 seconds later he could do another super, which was crazy. So
not ideal.
Yeah, the chance to disable 1 piece of gear for the whole fight. And when you look at the whole fight, I mean, you compare that to Claw of Horus, which is until tag out, Dawn of Justice Superman for about 1 minute. That can shift the entire fight.
Mm-hmm.
But the power dampening is what you can really build a team around.
Yeah.
And we've got a multiplayer video that highlights Earth 2 Solomon Grundy. The link is in the description and in the eye in the top right corner. And to me, the most interesting part is how instead of having a full Earth 2 team, which would be sort of would seem like the obvious thing to do, since they all have synergy, it's to have an Earth 2 team that switches out Earth 2 Hawkgirl for Killer Frost.
Because then you get double power dampening.
Right, because if you lean into that power dampening part, you're pretty much protected against any kind of specials except for whoever's holding the Tantu Totem.
Yeah, because it means you got good power dampening always and great power dampening whenever Killer Frost is not the person in.
Yeah, right, because you only get her power dampening as opposed to Earth 2. Like, Earth 2 is the character has to be in it to get the Earth 2 dampening, and Killer Frost just does it for the whole team.
Yeah, so, and the good news is that they're good enough that you don't really need to worry about, you know, not playing with Killer Frost. If you want to play with her, it's fine, because you still get good power dampening.
Right. So this week's multiplayer reward is, again, Ares.
His passive is To the Death, which is when Ares performs the Godsmack special, it shocks opponents, causing them to lose the ability to block for a limited time, and the sort of one thing about that is that the special itself is also unblocked because of that, right? That you wouldn't assume based off of just reading that.
Well, so this is what I question. I know originally it was, because the amount of damage was huge always.
Yeah.
But it seems like now that when you, the counter to it is that if you block, it won't crit. And so maybe you get the full damage, but it's not crit.
So it's like still a pseudo block?
It's just somewhere in between a full and a not block at all.
Okay, well, I guess that's sort of a footnote to my footnote.
Yeah.
So stats are pretty low. 1200 attack and 900 health. Last available July of 2019.
So what's interesting is the balance of stats is low.
Yeah.
So 1200 and 900. So it's only 2100 total points. But they're weighted towards the damage side, which is how we like them. Because his attack is still higher than either Amikami, Catwoman, or Earth 2 Solomon Grundy.
His attack is like medium high, and his health is really low.
Right. And so he's had multiple breakthrough seasons. He's been multiple multiplayer seasons, because he's, if not the first, he's one of the first. I know that when they introduced him, it was in the same update that had Cassandra Cain Batgirl, but I think he was
the same
first.
batch.
Yeah, so Elite 10 is very common. And his special, like you mentioned, is really great because what it does is, there's two parts, right?
Yeah.
It's not really two parts. It's sort of built into a special 2 is what I meant. It's unblockable by itself, but if they survive that, they can't block.
Yeah, so it's a pretty easy cleanup.
So it makes him perfect with Batgirl because if you gear him to do the special 2, you gear her for the loadout where she's at the Cloak of Destiny. If he happens to not knock out that person, she can jump right in. You don't even have to time it right. Do a Cloak of Destiny, League of Assassins Knives.
For crazy damage.
Yeah, and it's spread over everybody else. So by the time everybody else comes in, they have no health. Because Ares you can do with his... If you do splash damage in a special 2...
Yeah.
The Fourth World Mace, you're laughing.
Yeah, so that team is still, I think, pretty good at mowing down people fast.
Yeah.
For the most part.
I mean, we've done a lot of variations on the team. So instead of linking a specific video, we've actually got a full playlist with that combination. I think
through the eras.
It's for the that's true. Through the Ares,
through the ages.
Ares
through the ages.
Ares through the eras because it's a rearrangement of the letters. What's that called?
I don't even know.
I don't remember
it's
that.
Just an unscrambling, but I know that's not like the term.
There's a word for it, yeah.
Yeah. In the store, we've got Teen Titans Raven for 27 Canadian. It's only one copy. It won't unlock in your store. It's probably a clue for next week's challenge. And even crummier than usual, there's no credits. So It's not the cheap pack, and it doesn't come with the normal 100,000 credits that packs of that cost come with.
It's $1 more than last week.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Yeah. Even worse.
Darkseid War Bundle, $25.99. Rebirth Jessica Cruz and Apocalypse Darkseid. They're both really great characters.
Yeah. Much better deal than the challenge pack.
But still not good. I mean, Darkseid was better before they nerfed him. His damage over time used to be sort of indefinite until he tagged out.
Yeah.
But Jessica Cruz is still great. She's got so many hits on her combo ender that if you're going to have something that doesn't trigger every time like the combo ender does, having it hit so many times like it does with her, and I think the effect is sort of like a stun, is pretty great.
In Survivor, we have the League of Assassins gear until the 29th of January, 2020. Phantom Zone is here for one more week. Fight 62 is still broken. And last weekend's breakthrough was, as expected, Harley Quinn, Killer Croc, and Martian Manhunter, which is what we mentioned in our last recap. And what next weekend should be, according to the pattern, is Hawk Girl, Green Lantern, and Lobo based on the schedule. And so that's both sort of our personal notes for the schedule and the from the Reddit thread that Devlin16 has that goes over the breakthrough cycle, which we've also linked in the description. So that's sort of double corroborated.
So the important thing out of the three is Hawk Girl, because she's the one that didn't used to be on it. So each week, I think there's typically one person or one character that was not part of the breakthrough schedule that we had for,
or maybe two. Sometimes there's two, right?
Yeah, sometimes there's two.
There's a week with Deadshot and Static, as well as Wonder Woman, and then a week with Killer Croc and Martian Manhunter, as well as Harley Quinn. So,
and I guess there's one week without any, where Bane, Killer Frost, and Ares were all part of the
That's true.
rotation.
So 2 weeks where they double up, which is not useful if you don't do the breakthrough glitch, but useful if you do the breakthrough glitch.
Yeah.
Right? And then 1 week where there's nobody new.
Right.
Okay, there we go.
All right, so moving on, current glitches. Remember that every working glitch is explained in a video as part of the playlist that you can reach by clicking the eye in the top right corner of this video. We are Android only, so we can only confirm these glitches for Android. And we'll make mention in some of our comments if there's sort of an equivalent, but we just can't test them ourselves.
Yeah. Starting with the significant not working glitches, there is currently no working glitch for credits that we are willing to endorse. We talk about in Season 6, Episode 9 of our P&Q and CNA&T, the one that you can do that we are not endorsing, which requires 2 devices, which we just don't feel is safe enough to put our name behind.
Yeah, or even to risk getting suspended. When you've got two devices simultaneously logged into one account, we know that's been a trigger, whether it is still or not, has been a trigger for getting your account suspended.
Yeah. As far as other things that aren't working, there's nothing to get repeated past multiplayer season rewards. There is nothing to get early multiplayer season rewards that we can replicate. People are getting this by accident, but nobody's getting it on purpose.
Right.
There's no glitch to get through Phantom Zone quickly, and there is no way to get free energy without having to watch the video, because the button to watch the video in the first place is just not there.
Well, technically, we still get free energy. We'll talk about it later, but just not with that video part, because
yeah. So the video button skip is no longer available because the video button is no longer there.
So working glitches. So hand in hand with each other, there's the Phantom Zone glitch and the Challenge Reset glitch. Challenge Reset that requires a Google Play Cloud save is working, confirmed on the current Earth to Solomon Grundy challenge, and it is pretty much the same technique to reset the Phantom Zone so that you can play it repeatedly.
Mm-hmm.
So just keep that in mind, that when you reset the progress for one, you're doing it for the other. So what you don't want to do is work your way through a bunch in one and think, oh, I'm going to do the other thing for a while and reset it and then screw yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've also cut and pasted a comment from a viewer, Jonathan Yang, on how to reset the challenge on an iOS device. You can check that out in the description. The breakthrough glitch to let you play it repeatedly is still working. We've cut and pasted into the description a comment from a viewer with a potential solution for people who are having trouble playing extra breakthroughs. We can't confirm whether this works since we're not having the same problem, but you can go ahead and check that out for yourself if you're having difficulties.
Mm-hmm. So the airplane mode / refund glitch is still working. It's good for both packs with random drops, also known as loot boxes, and last laugh tickets. It only works, and it's obvious when you go through the steps, it only works with things that do not require an online connection. So an example of where it doesn't work is with the Phantom Zone, the final crystal where you get your character.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we've seen people who say that they've had no trouble doing it, and we've tried it on Android. What's funny is it looks like you're getting a reroll, but after it happens, if you look at your collection, it's still the first thing that you got.
Yeah,
at least for us.
First glance is a little deceiving.
Yeah, so maybe it's working on iOS. We just can't test it. We can't say.
Mm-hmm. Time shifting still works in Android for unlimited survivor play and energy recharges, so that's how you get your energy if you're not using the video glitch.
Yeah.
Just as always, return your clock back to normal before you finish so you don't end up on a weird sort of internal clock in the game.
Right.
And in between the not working and working glitches, we have the promotion glitch, where you can promote characters that are still locked. Hasn't had the right conditions since update 2.14, so it's still not testable and it's still not usable, but it technically has never failed us, so it is in a sort of limbo in-between space, and it is going to stay there for what looks like forever, especially if you're not updating it, right? There's not a lot of risk of something else coming into the first slot.
That's true.
So that would really cement it as sort of permanent.
Right. All right, so... and that's it for this week. Our final word is that we have a Patreon, and if you want to support what we do with more than just reviews, click on our avatar at the bottom right corner at the end of the video.
Yeah, give us some money if you feel like it.
Yeah. A huge thank you to the people who are already doing this. Our patrons are Console Peasant and Edwoon, who are supporting us at the top tier last word. All right, so this is because I'm doing the names. I hope I don't screw this up. Mohammed Albshaiti in the Your Message Here tier. Shawn, Farrell, Daniel Simonson, Aaron Maule, and Michael DeVries, who are supporting us on the credited level, and Chris Wolff at the gratitude level.
Yeah, so thanks so much for your support, and thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.
Komoda.